silent alarm. And so lays the ground of a future that waits when you feel like you ain't where you are. Out of control is compulsion to flee, absent of value as best he could see. As from within, so without unto thee, knew he'd strike out on his own eventually. And so it would be, patience no virtue amid certainty, fortunate known but determinedly. On the day when he had turned 23, he decided to leave, he was gone. Like an addiction, he soared on a glorious high. Living to him was a mission devoid of objective in mind. He'd move at the drop of a dime with no thinking or questioning why. Never developed attachment to things or would get left behind. This was the method that patterned his ways. Perpetual motion without any reins. No repercussions, no paper to pay. No obligation to come into play. Nothing away, no one to sway. No inhibition or stress to allay. No benefit to the bond that he'd say. So die on the morrow but live for this day. Lone as the wolf strays, he remained one in kind. A habit of force made as he weighed far and wide. Now onwards and upwards, no grind. If you don't seek, you can't find. Devil may care, well no devil compared. He was on a one hell of a ride, he was gone. Disguised from things insecurity hides. Running from doubt and the pressure to cope, and no semblance of hope on the rise. Running from heartbreak and love, running from who we had failed to become. Running from fear, he then came to realize he was left all alone with but words of the wise. And so on, the day when our passage entwined. Now longing, the tooth at the end of his line. He said, friend, go yonder, but bear this in mind. In this world, no one truth, you can't run from time. Red from the blood, rose cheeks dull from the mud, hands worn through from the sludge, a self no longer begrudged, and murder is a potion of love, sacrifice devotion thereof, and he without sin never was. Now a changing of the guard has begun, a kingdom that belies the internal, is a prison of the mind that's infernal, and eternal is the lie turned plague. So I've dug this grave so my truth won't fade. I feel the war paint on my face, I feel the ground tremble and quake, I feel my heart sink to the pace that these war drums make. I feel alive and awake, and all I see is war path ahead of me. Each and every step I welcome readily, and if my spirits of my ancestors envelop me. So know this is that Armageddon coming, a flood that goes beyond the refuge high upon the summit. A sun become whole, black hole on consumption, spun inside itself into a beacon that is summoned. That creature of the deep that leaves a pit inside your stomach, that rumbling beneath that bodes arrival from above, and that nature of the beast that feeds upon the will to numb it. That monster brought the seed of life, well now I have become it. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one, and this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one, and this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. Self once masked by these stains, that filth washed out with the rain. When I'm done, only thing that remains is a tombstone etched with my name. Look into a face that is changed, recognize the corpse in that grave. Resurrect what's lost can be saved. I am now free, once slave, and I am not a part of a game. I am not a moth to a flame. I am both man and brigade. I won't be denied or restrained. I am what the weak can obtain. I am what survives if it's slain. I am rest in peace if you aim. No, I am not built of the same. In my gaze, high upon a death and a rage. He said he had the truth that I crave, then my sword through his chest I gave. Ain't no one command, I behave. Never put my faith in plans best laid, and I don't follow rules that you made. I think it's time I set this whole bitch ablaze. On the precipice of slaughter is the Lord. Angels and they demons come together with a cause, and I don't think you really know the meaning of a storm. Let this serve a lesson on the essence of reform. Hatred without focus make the eager man fall. Violence without purpose make the mighty man small. Vengeance without mercy leave the noble man flawed. And insurrection mounts behind those battle lines drawn. The future is beholden to the present moment cast, and prudence don't repeat the futile habits of the past. And courage is the heat that sheds the skeletons at last. These trains of thought now heading toward a devastating crash. Bloodshed to that order like a flower to a thorn. Beauty no perfection like a child know the law. And I advise you heed these words enlightened and forewarned. Truth in what you are, an oath of life to which I've sworn. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one, and this whole world has just begun, and it's so nice to meet me. And I feel like I got a gun, like I've been changed more ways than one, and this whole world has just begun, and it's a slave. You a slave. You a slave. You a slave. Poised to drink that Kool-Aid, suicide. Follow, don't get left behind. Don't think but do just what they certify. You that servant never choose a side. Vassal of the modern times. And when it all blows up, you duck your head and hide. You out there searching for that silver line, but sweat has covered up the signs. Now the fortune came, but it's gone and it passed you by. You plucked your feathers, now you wonder why you can't lift yourself and fly. Well, in the middle of an ocean, no one's hands are dry. If that tree falls, does it make a sound? Can the world stall from the runaround? Can a mind think if it's in the crowd? Can a soul search if it's never found? And can a thing grow when you cut it down? Can we all find peace in the here and now? You can crawl through the mud with your hands bound, but I got plenty of that dirt when I'm underground. You a slave. You a slave, you a slave, and this a slave ship. You a slave, you a slave, you a slave, and this a slave ship. This a slave ship, shackled in those chains, whipped, pushed until you break, fixed, back into the game, quick, march along the pavement, earn that meager wage, spit, do just what they say, skip, work until the pain splits, let the haze lift. Pull yourself out of that grave pit and consider how you became sick. All that labor brought you nothing but your bones sore. All that devotion led to nothing but the sweat pours. And now they want more, own you to the core. Well, I don't make laws, but I am not yours. And this a mob call, let them bricks fall. If you want freedom, then just take it, what you waiting for. Don't let your masters tell you this is how it's done. Don't let the wicked fool you, this is how the world is won. That mayhem can't continue if the noble don't succumb. That forest on fire paved the way to what becomes. They tell you disregard the doubts that creep across your mind. They tell you there is simply nothing more for you to find. They tell you time to wake up and get back into the line. These pyramids don't build themselves, now go resume the grind. I tell them I don't follow in the footsteps of insane. I tell them I don't trail along a path with no terrain. I tell them you can work the fields and bask in all your grain, but I for one don't live to work, I will not live in vain. You a slave, and this is slave ship. 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 This twisted culture got you feeding from its hand, but you will lose that food if you don't meet all their demands. And loyal is the soldier that gets slaughtered with the lambs. Examining the blueprints got you questioning the plans. And if a man fall, does it make a sound? Will the world stall from the runaround? Does a mind think when it in the crowd? How can the soul search if it's never found? And can the thing breathe if it's always being drowned? Can the leaders of the lost forever disavow? And you can stare at the sky while you on the ground, but I'ma wait until I die to take it lying down. This a mob call, let them bricks fall. This a mob call, now let them bricks fall. This a mob call, let them bricks fall. If you want freedom, then just take it, what you waiting for?